Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Movie News here at MBE. Joining us as always is John C. Walsh. And today, John, we are not straying away from the superhero world just yet, but we have got a few articles that are not linked to DC. They're not linked to Marvel either. I just feel like we'll be covering them. Well, we'll soon find out. Certainly with that headline, John, we will be getting into that in a moment. But we'd just like to welcome all our YouTube subscribers and, of course, Twitch followers as well. And the headline, John, Jeff Goldblum and Taika Waititi are working on a secret project. Don't tell anyone. Acclaimed actor Jeff Goldblum teases the possibility of teaming up once again with Oscar-winning Jojo Rabbit director Taika Waititi. Now, this was in an interview with CBR. Goldblum revealed he has always been a fan of the popular filmmaker and that he's eager to work with him again. As a matter of fact, the two are apparently discussing pairing up on a new secret project that Goldblum could only briefly mention during a recent interview. After being asked about The Mandalorian, Goldblum stated that he was a fan of the series and that he adores Waititi. I adore him, always did before I even worked with him, and maybe we'll do something again together. We've talked about doing something else that has to be right now, but I would do anything with him, sure, and Disney Plus are just a great bunch of people to be associated with. They are a wonderful family, how smart and sweet and kind they are. Now, he's thrown in Disney Plus there, John.
Yes.
It's a bit off left field, isn't it, mentioning them, so it must get the rumour mill started that they maybe just paying them a compliment. We don't know. We might be looking too much into it. What's your thoughts on this, John? Because there is obviously different possibilities, different platforms that they could be talking about. But it's good to see both the actor and the director linking up once again. They had such a great time doing Ragnarok. Goldblum, I think, was possibly the standout in the film for me anyway. You always know what you're going to get with him, but for some reason I just think Taika Waititi brought the best out of him as well in that film as the Grand Master. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think maybe Kevin Feige doesn't really want to go there with that character at the moment?
Stephen, I think anything's a possibility with the MCU related stuff. We have got a whole batch of unannounced projects, I'm absolutely certain, which will connect into the MCU in one vein or another. I'd love to see a Grandmaster TV show. There's something. He's one of these. Is he not a part of a group of other sort of powerful beings? Benicio del Toro's The Collector. Yeah. I think he's in a similar vein to them. Maybe a TV show looking into what these guys are up to, because they're hiding back in the sort of shadows, not taking a real active part in the Infinity Saga when we pop into their lives. Well, I mean, I suppose they are. I mean, he's sort of keeping captive one of the most powerful Avengers, i.e. Thor, and I suppose that is taking an active part in the Infinity Saga.
And Hulk.
Yes, and Hulk, of course. So in a way, he has influenced and took an active part, but I think it's absolutely possible that we could see perhaps a Grandmaster linked TV show on Disney Plus. If not, then look, man, I'm equally happy to see something with these two guys, perhaps just doing something like Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. The tour. I'd just love to see these two guys going around cities, having a drink. The trip, that's what it's called, having a meal, having a glass of wine, joking back and forth. They're two zany individuals. I'd like to see that, man, because Disney Plus have got a lot of Discovery sort of things. They've got a lot of documentary style things and lifestyle and stuff like that, and it doesn't all have to be film related or part of a greater, more grandiose
Disney
universe.
Plus already do a documentary with Jeff Goldblum, The World According to Jeff Goldblum, or something like that. Well,
that's where I ripped the actual thumbnail off of.
We've got a comment coming in from Diego. It says distributed by Universal Pictures. I'm not really sure. No, I didn't see that either. But that throws more light onto where it could be going then. It could be something. It could be something. It could be an independent thing then, away from Disney Plus, John.
Stephen, look, man, I think Jeff's such a zany, eccentric guy. He brings something truly unique to each movie that he's in. Sometimes he's in absolutely shite movies, but his personality, his charisma, his just mentalness, for lack of a better word, ups the watchability just demonstrably because of his mere presence. You mix that in Ragnarok, as you did say, with him and Waititi, his blend of humour. There's something magic about it. It just, he got the best out of him. He sort of meshed well with Waititi's humour, It was a match made in heaven. If they are going to transcend into perhaps another movie, it's not even remotely related to Marvel or anything else. It's just a unique, independent project. Maybe it's linked to Disney Plus, maybe it's linked to Universal, whatever it may be. I'm absolutely positive these two guys are a match made in heaven. We've seen it with what they did in The Shadows. I'm pretty sure that movie was as a TV show. What he's capable of with these eccentric characters. If you mix that with Goldblum and a Waititi independent movie, it's got gold all over it. I love Taika Waititi regardless of what the hell it is. I'll be watching it. I love the man's blend of humour. I love his filmmaking technique. I love the guy, period. I think he's hilarious. A great guy as well. You see it with Merchant and stuff like that behind the scenes of Jojo Rabbit. The passion for film, but the passion for having a laugh behind the camera too. He's bringing on these young actors, the little fat kid, and then the other guy whose name completely eludes me at the moment, the little guy who played Jojo in Jojo Rabbit. So he's not scared to bring in, I was about to say scared, like the Sticky Bandits in Home Alone. I'm not as scared of the dark. He's not scared to give youth a chance as well. So maybe, look man, I'm on board, whatever the hell it is. I'm excited for it. Maybe Jeff Goldblum's going to meet Star Wars. Because Taika is also doing a Star Wars movie. It's technically still a secret at the moment. He's just doing the script with Kirsty, I forget her name, Scottish writer who worked on 1917 with Sam Mendes.
Yeah, can't remember her name.
Can't recall her set. I'm sure it's a double barrel name.
I'll look for that.
Could be that this mystery movie is Star Wars related. It's the Star Wars Taika Waititi project. Who wouldn't want to see Jeff Goldblum in the Star Wars universe? Could you imagine what that guy could bring to a Taika Waititi Star Wars movie? It could be absolute brilliance. Stephen, he played a villain in Ragnarok, and it was that sort of light-hearted villain. We need to get back to these light-hearted villains. Jabba was a light-hearted villain. He had Salacious B. Crumb and all these little Muppet characters around him.
Bib Fortuna.
Diana Wanga, a guy with terrible nails, long tails at the back of his head.
He doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
We need to get back to that light-hearted space operatic thing, and Taika's perfect, man. Whatever it is, I am on board, man.
John,
I love Jeff Goldblum.
I do like the sound of a trip style with these two guys because it's no secret that both have ad-libbed a lot of their dialogue in films before, so that would be right down their street to do something a bit sort of off the top of their heads, if you like. But Star Wars, Jeff Goldblum, definitely. This is a guy that's already done the Jurassic Park franchise. He's already dabbled in Marvel as well now, so he's so versatile, you can get the best out of him in any sort of role anyway.
And chest hair. You need more chest hair. We've not had chest hair in the Star Wars character since Han Solo.
But even if it's something independent, if it's something that's not related to Marvel, it's not related to Star Wars in any fashion, it's going to be interesting anyway, because the two of them are very interesting dudes. They've obviously bonded, during Ragnarok. They've got on very well. I think Taika Waititi saw what the sort of endless possibilities he can do with a guy like Jeff Goldblum, who's had such a varied career. When you look at films like a horror film like The Fly, and that, and then you see him doing some comedy as well. It was also in a few episodes of Friends, as I recall. It was very funny in that as well. You look at the science fiction stuff he's done in Independence Day. He didn't go back to the second one, did he? I don't know.
Think so.
I didn't get near that film, so I'm not really sure if he did. And then, as I said, Jurassic Park. So he's used to the big
jazz pianist.
Yeah, he's used to the big blockbuster films as well as the independent stuff anyway. So it's going to be very interesting, because I don't think you can actually really pinpoint exactly what kind of a film it's going to be, what kind of role it's going to be, because he's so versatile.
And Stephen, look, the final thing I would add to it is the fact that, much like Face Off, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, mocking the potential for a reboot. And I says I would want it just for the press junkets to see these two guys beside each other. Taika Waititi and Jeff Goldblum side by side interviews on a press junket. Even socially distanced, that's going to be absolutely gold standard. That will appear in a compilation video on YouTube, and I will watch it to the end of time.
Let's hope there's something in this, John. Jeff Goldblum seems to think there is anyway, so we'll take his word for it.
Taika's a busy boy though, Steve. That's another thing you need to remember. He is doing for Love and Thunder. He likes to do independent movies in between. He also done Jojo between Ragnarok. He done that Next Goal Wins, I think. It's not out yet.
if it's
and
not already
Fallen
one
Love.
of them.
Yeah.
But Christy Wilson Cairns, John.
Kirsty
Yeah,
Wilson Cairns.
so that was the name. Yeah, so you were close.
Stephen, I always remember because she says the body, she put in the German dead body in the river that Schofield put his hand into, and she beautifully described it as a body like that of Camembert cheese.
But ruined the cheese for me.
Ruined the cheese, but what a description. Camembert cheese,
Can
soft as
imagine.
hell.
Yeah.
But beautiful. That shows you the insight into what we're getting in this
Probably
Star Wars
the same
movie.
kind of smell as well, but we'll move on, John,
Yes.
to our next topic. It's Whoopi Goldberg calls on Disney parks to build Wakanda experience in honour of Chadwick Boseman. Actress Whoopi Goldberg went to Twitter to request a Black Panther Wakanda experience in Disney park to honour the late Chadwick Boseman. Our suggestion is very honourable, John.
Yes.
Goldberg took to social media to request that Disney build a Wakanda experience in both Disney World and Disneyland. This would not only recognise Boseman but also the significance of Black Panther in black communities. Goldberg's original tweet can be read below. Yes, I'm just going to read that. Dear people in charge of building new experiences, Disneyland and World, we don't really need another Frozen Land, but what we could use is Wakanda. Please, Disney World, Disneyland, please build in Chadwick Boseman's name, Wakanda. She's actually saying Wakanda. But we know what she means. In Goldberg's tweet, she mentions that Disney parks could do without another Frozen attraction. I totally agree, which is a fair point to make. Disney has made progress in recent years when it comes to diversity. For decades, the company has focused on white characters. In fact, they didn't introduce a black princess until Princess and the Frog came out in 2009. For many members of the black community, Black Panther was their first experience seeing themselves properly represented in a project of this scale. So bringing that experience to Disney parks would likely be just appreciated. John, how do you feel about this? Because I've got to be honest with you, I mean, I've never been to Disney Land or World or anything like that, but we keep an eye on these things, especially obviously with the Star Wars World that came out a couple of years ago. The interest in a Wakanda, from your point of view, do you think that's something that would be more of a temporary thing rather than something that would be a permanent feature? I don't know.
Well, Stephen, obviously Star Wars, Galaxy's Edge, that get built. They essentially spent millions upon millions of dollars on that. It's been an absolute joke. Bodies have not been getting in, i.e. fans, attractions have not been bringing in the amount of people that they anticipated it would. They put a lot of money into that and it's been a flop. They're apparently rejigging it and adding more attractions in. They're continually expanding out Disneyland and the Disney parks in general anyway. I don't see why they couldn't do a Wakanda attraction as part of maybe a greater MCU world. I don't see why you couldn't have it. It's a very unique area in the MCU, a very unique country, if you like, within a country. I think it's like Themyscira. It's sort of shrouded within the African continent. And it's just got that mixture of modernity, I was about to say modernish or something like that, and I caught myself, but I didn't. I brought it back up. I nearly got away with it until I roused myself. It's like the Scooby-Doo thing. I nearly got away with it, but I done it to myself. It's got modernity.
Meddling kids.
Yeah, it's my brain, damn you ye. It's modernity mixed with the... I get William Dafoe in my head there, Stephen. You like me lobster though, don't you? Damn you ye. Say it. You like me lobster. Okay, have it your way. But I digress. Tangent aside. Modernity mixed with the sort of rustic arid landscape of an African country. You have the ancestral plain with that amazing colour, scope, scene, purple meet violet meets blue and stuff like that. So it's a very unique and colourful, different landscape to what we've seen in the rest of the MCU, which has been pretty generic blockbuster action movie vibes. Apart from going to Vonnegut and stuff like that, it's been like New York and things like that. So if you're going to make a land based on the MCU, I believe Wakanda's probably the best shout. It'd be a great honour for Chadwick Boseman. You could maybe name it after Chadwick. You could put a statue of him in there. Obviously the man has had a real impact on Disney. Crossed $1 billion, his movie. He was leading. It was a zeitgeist movie for the black community across the world, not just in America. So it'd be a fitting tribute, and I'm agreeing with Whoopi on this one. Yeah, if you can do a shitey sequel trilogy themed Star Wars land, then why not Wakanda, or Wakanda as she says, within a greater MCU theme park. I'm on for it. Yeah.
It's funny you should say that, John. I was actually reading an article today in regards to a statue honouring Chadwick Boseman. It's thousands of signed a petition to replace a Confederate memorial in his hometown.
Yeah.
So these things are.
Where was he from? Was he from New York?
I'm not sure, John. Do you know something? Something that always stays with me actually. When we were talking about Chadwick Boseman, maybe about 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was just prior to, or it might have been actually
South Carolina.
It might actually been when Black Panther was just coming out, and you said that his accent in Black Panther is absolutely amazing. You would actually believe he was obviously from Africa.
Well, he did learn a language, a dialect, an African dialect, and he put his heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
So that again speaks volumes to that guy. Just the attention he poured into this role, he had real faith in it.
Yeah.
He also said in that sad interview that's popped up about the 2 kids who had cancer at the time, that he wasn't aware of just how important this was going to have, how important a role this would have in a variety of different people's lives. And once he'd seen how it touched those 2 kids, he realised, and that made him infuse even more.
I think if you can take any positives out, the tragedy is that he got to realise the impact that he had, playing that character, doing that role. And obviously the film itself. So you've got to take these things now, and try and make positives out of them. But I think I agree with you, and I agree with Goldberg here, John. It's something that would be different as well. She says another frozen planet or a frozen land or whatever. I think that's a dig. They just keep regurgitating the same kind of things over and over again. It'd be different. I think. You're right. There's not many places in the MCU at the moment that you could really pinpoint, because a lot of it's been done in cities and stuff like that. You'd have to go off world.
Also, Asgard.
Yeah. Not the way it is now, right enough, but
it's the pasta.
But no, I think it would work, and I think it would attract a big audience as well, and I think it would be a good way to honour the late Chadwick Boseman as well. But we'll move on, John, to our next topic. It's Jason Momoa takes down enemies in new June 2020 movie images. The latest batch of images from Denis Villeneuve's Dune offer new glimpses of the star-studded cast, from Jason Momoa to Timothée Chalamet. In action. The latest batch from Dune show Jason Momoa taking down enemies, plus offer glimpses of other cast members. Villeneuve is the latest director to try his hand at adapting Frank Herbert's iconic sci-fi novel into live-action form. Good luck with that, by what you've been telling me, John. And while previous attempts have left fans wary, many are hopeful that this iteration of Dune can help turn things around. Villeneuve has already shared his intention to split Dune into 2 parts in order to properly explore Herbert's world, and he has assembled an awe-inspiring cast to help him do so. This cast includes Timothée Chalamet, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, and Jason Momoa. We were looking at his images earlier, John. I think the first one is Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet.
Looks great, doesn't it?
There's something. They're looking out at something there. Not really sure what it is, but it looks like they're kind of hiding.
Well, Stephen, there's gigantic worms on Arrakis, the desert planet. Big, huge sandworms that come out.
They're looking very concerned there.
I'd look concerned too if I was on that planet.
Yeah, certainly, with those breathing apparatus things they've got on. Next one, John's probably my favourite one. It's Josh Brolin and Oscar Isaac.
Looks amazing.
With the Hammer, I was actually looking at the beards.
Yeah.
They're absolutely amazing.
I
Look
need
at
to get
that
a beard back. It's been too long. It's been 4 or 5 months now since I had the Rona, funnily enough.
Yeah, Josh Brolin kind of looking sideways to Oscar Isaac. Yeah, very admiring his look, I think. Thinking if only my beard was a bit darker, not so grey, but...
well, they're playing the Atreides. He's playing Duke Leto, Atreides, Oscar Isaac, and your man, Brolin, is playing Gurney Halleck. I believe that may be the right-hand man. Obviously, Timothée Chalamet is playing Paul Atreides, who is the main Messiah-like figure in this book, in this story. Zendaya Chani, I believe, is the young sort of native to Arrakis that he bumps into, and they are sort of intertwined, their fates, I believe. Obviously, you've got Momoa, he's playing Duncan Adayo. I can't recall if that's the weaponsmith for the Atreides, or whether it's his uncle or something like that. I read about 50, 60 pages in, and he had a moment, a scene, Paul, with a character. It may have been Duncan before they left their homeland to go to Arrakis. He had sort of close relationship with that guy, so he's a big, powerful, tough guy. He's really in tune with the weapons and stuff and fighting. So if anything, if that photograph's anything to go by, Stephen, that photo of Momoa,
well, he's took 7 of them down.
Could be
I counted them, John.
Yeah,
he's took 7 of these guys down, and
he's an absolute massive guy. He's 6'5", man. So
yeah,
I mean, him in that armour, he's probably hitting David Prowse levels of height. Absolutely gigantic.
Yes, he's an absolute, as you would say, a unit.
He is a unit.
I would think, John, as well, that we're already getting on social media. People saw the trailer.
Yeah, I've not,
IMAX,
surprisingly, I've not even tried.
I think it's in selected IMAX theatres, and some people have been coming out absolutely minds blown with it.
It's already been leaked, Stephen. There's been a pirated version leaked of the actual trailer because Robert Meyer Burnett, I watched Compare earlier on. He's already watched it. He admitted it was a shitty pirated link. He watched all of just the trailer.
Yeah.
Not the actual Tenet or anything like that. I would hope not. But I'm going to see it.
What was it? Sorry to interrupt, John. There was a trailer that was leaked, wasn't there? And someone did a trailer reaction. I don't know how their video stayed up for so long.
Was it
Joker? I can't remember.
No, that was. I think that may have been Rise of Skywalker.
Was it Rise of Skywalker? It was such a.
It may have been Joker. I can't recall.
I can't remember, but it was.
Surely convention.
I think 1 second we just went
Mandalorian, Steve.
Mandalorian,
the
yeah,
Mandalorian.
That's right, yeah.
And he reacted to a footage from the actual Star Wars celebration.
Yeah.
How he get away with that is beyond me. It was not supposed to be distributed
I'm
widely.
surprised that obviously those 2 YouTubers doing that, just because of sheer quality. This is a film you want to obviously see cinematically.
It was only Robert.
Yeah, if you're not fortunate enough, obviously, to get along to one of the IMAX theatres that are going to be showing it, then the next best thing is obviously watching, legally.
I sincerely hope it's in regular theatres as well, because I want to see it.
You were just about to say, John,
I'm going to see Tenet tomorrow. I need my head checked. I'm probably going to end up with coronavirus again.
Don't eat, don't drink.
I won't eat, I won't drink. I'll just sit with the mask on watching it. It's 2.5 hours though. But hopefully we get to Dune before it. And I get to see
I was going to say, if you
teaser.
do, let me know, John. But then I'll have to do the trailer reaction myself, because it won't be genuine.
No, but it's a teaser to the trailer.
Okay.
The full trailer comes out on the 8th.
Yeah.
That's September.
Hopefully 9th. I'll still be at around the 9th. Oh, close for me, John. As you know, I'm going to be preoccupied on the 10th. But
yes.
we'll see how that goes anyway. We'll play it by day. But we'll move on, John. Great images there anyway. What is it you say? Wetting the
anticipatory juices, yes.
That's another t-shirt you need to get with that
the
saying
anticipatory juices. I like to say words with T's in them, Stephen. It's impossible to slur the words. It's very easy to pronounce. I go to my tongue twisters every now and again, and the T's always excel
under pressure, yeah. But we'll move on anyway to our next topic, John. It's Wonder Woman 1984. Movie runtime revealed ahead of its release in October. Wonder Woman 1984's runtime has been officially revealed online, and it's pretty close to the first films. So no shock horrors there. I'm just going to go right down to, over on social media, an eagle-eyed fan named Gavin. Well done, Gavin. Notice Wonder Woman 1984, Suave Gav, runtime has been shared online by a Korean site. According to this source, Wonder Woman 1984 will clock in at 151 minutes or 2 hours and 31 minutes. For comparison's sake, 2017 Wonder Woman was 2 hours and 29 minutes. So the films are fairly close in length. I don't think this topic's going to last as long as the previous ones, John, because there's no great shakes here or surprises or shocks.
Yeah.
Did you expect it to be roughly about the same, John, or were you not really thinking about it that much?
No, I wasn't really thinking about it, Stephen. I've said before, I don't really like to find out the actual running time of movies, because when you're actually watching the movie and you're immersed in it, if you check the time and you already know how long into the movie you are, and maybe there's a big sort of stirring moment in the movie that may be seen as the end, or perhaps something happens to a character and you think, oh god, this is it, we're having a cliffhanger or something. You check and you're already like an hour and 50 minutes in. You know you've got 40 minutes left in this movie. You know it's not the end. It spoils it. So I like to go in not really knowing what the running time is, go in freed of it and just watch the movie and enjoy it from the start to the end.
There's only certain films where that doesn't apply though. Lord of the Rings being one of them, Return of the King, where I think the ending was like 40 minutes long, just to say farewells. Endgame was similar. I think there was a good 25 minutes after the events of the battle, still to obviously
and the wall reading.
Yeah, and then the Captain America stuff at the end as well. So It's very rare, but you're right. I think sometimes when you know the running time and you're immersed in a film and you happen to clock watch, you're like, right, I know where we are.
Shouldn't really be clock watching. You're in a theatre anyway.
Sometimes your phone, you know, it's like a lot of people like to look at their phones to check things, but they clock the time and go, okay, yeah. So
yeah, Stephen, look, 151 minutes. I think it's necessary for this story. It's obviously the second part in a trilogy. It's the middle part in a 3-arc story. We're looking into, obviously, Diana's next step in her journey. She's in a darker, grislier spot in her life. She's beaten down, downtrodden. She's lost the love of her life.
Yeah.
Friends have been changed irrevocably.
Our friends are
Our
gone.
friends are gone, yeah. As Ringo would say, peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. So she's in a dark spot. She's
apart
going to
from
start
Gordon and Thomas Tank Engine, who didn't like him.
Yes. But obviously Steve's going to be brought back in. Steve. And that's going to be hugely important. You have to flesh that out, the man out of time aspect, without getting too bogged down and destroying Diana's arc, because she is the main character.
Yeah,
So
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, yeah. So to balance all of that together, you need 2 hours and 31 minutes. It's absolutely necessary. Don't go down the route that Star Wars route. I don't know what that was. It says there. I'm going American here, Stephen. Route instead of
you
route.
need a vacation, John.
Yes. I've had a very long day, Stephen, as you well know. Jesus Christ, a long day. End, please. Star Wars got it wrong, Stephen. They got it way wrong. They were trying to make the movie shorter and shorter as we're getting to the end of the story, and there was so much to do.
Warner Brothers is
Back
guilty
to
of it
themselves.
as well.
Stephen, I was reading it today.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder. I was reading an article about the Snyder Cut, how they were absolutely adamant it had to be 2 hours long, Justice League.
Why?
And he kept replying to them, you are joking, aren't you? You know my style. I film inordinate amounts of movie, and then I try and cut it down to maybe 3 hours or something. 2 hours ain't happening. So Warner Brothers are guilty for this as well, forcing the movie to be shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Patty Jenkins seems to have accrued enough sort of sway within the company that she's got away. It's a 2 hour and 31 minute long movie, and look, it's necessary, as I say. There's enough story there, there's enough character development.
Well, Wonder Woman was the turning point anyway, John. I think that's when the execs at Warner Brothers decided they got it wrong with the running time of Justice League. But yeah, I think you need that. I think what we've seen from the trailers anyway, there seems to be a lot happening in this film. There's going to have to be a lot explained as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe they'll just... Maybe
But
they'll
we're
not
seeing
delve too much into that.
The Amazonian Olympics and stuff like that. So if you're getting off in tangents like that, it's got to have some emotional impact on Diana's current life. She's looking back longingly. So she's going to be in a dark place. I'm sure Steve coming back will lift her up, and then we'll move on to the sort of main thing. We've got Cheetah in there. Need to tell her story of how she became Cheetah. We've seen glimpses of it in that trailer from DC fandom. And then we've got the big bad that is Pedro Pascal. Yeah, it's Pedro Pascal. I've seen that there and I thought I'd screwed it.
You're right.
Pedro Pascal. Can't recall his character's name again, but there's so much going on in the movie. It's required. You need a certain length of movie. And 2 hours and 31 minutes is not too long, Stephen.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
Gone are the days, well, for that kind of level of film anyway, of blockbuster, are the days that you just rely heavily on action. You know, you need a good story in there as well. And if you want a good story, you need time to tell it. So I'm looking forward to it, John. October, not far away. We're into September now, so we've not got long to wait. It's been a long wait, certainly for Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot, or Gal Gadot.
Is this coming out this October?
It says October.
Jesus Christ,
so,
I thought it was next year.
Unless it's next October. I think Patty Jenkins would have an absolute fit if it was. It's well, according to this article, but
it probably is October.
Things may change, John. Things are getting back the way in this country at the moment. We're all starting to
get back the way in our city, Steve.
It's a good job we're not in the same room, John. You know, clearly we've got that split screen here, so we're not in the same room.
We're in South Lanarkshire. It doesn't apply to us. We're not in Greater Glasgow, so we get away with it.
Apparently, we're not allowed to share households again.
Yeah,
but we can go to the pub and talk about it.
Well, I can't even do it. We're not in the same room, Stephen.
Yeah, see.
Knock.
Anyway, I'm going to move on before we go down that rabbit hole, John, to our final topic. It's Netflix launches free streaming of select original movies and TV shows. Netflix is making a handful of titles available to watch for free. Don't do that. I've been subscribing to you for about 10 years. What about the loyal people? award does stuff, allowing non-subscribers to sample some of its original movies and TV shows. Now, I was actually reading a bit about this. I'm not really going to read right into the history of Netflix or anything like that, John, but I didn't realise that we're actually set up as direct competition to Blockbuster back in the late 90s.
Really?
And what they did was they used to mail out DVD copies to their customers.
Yeah.
And just as obviously the world was becoming more digital, they started having a website that you can actually subscribe to, etc. And a sort of primitive version of what they've got just now. But it's very interesting. I wonder if they'll actually be so self-absorbed that at one point they'll do a Netflix original on Netflix, The Story. Would you watch it?
See, I probably would watch that.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fascinating start to the company. Blockbuster is a fascinating company as well, with only one sort of franchise left in the whole of the United States.
Yeah, well, Netflix have done it before. They did it, I think it was the history of Compact, direct opposition to IBM. Yeah. And obviously there was the Atari one with I think it was the worst game that was ever made. It was E.T. It was buried in a landfill, which was quite interesting as well. But there's other ones as well, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did it. But this is to keep up with the streaming world. Consumers now have the chance to sample Netflix content before subscribing. The streaming service has created a watch-free page that can be accessed by non-subscribers, which carries a selection of Netflix original shows and movies. Currently, series options include Stranger Things, Love is Blind, and When They See Us, among others, and films such as Bird Box and Two Popes. Non-subscribers unfortunately only get a taste of the shows. Just the first episode of each is available on the page. Netflix reveals that the listings may change from time to time, urging fans to watch those ones while they're still offered. Now, that's bearing in mind that in television series that the pilot is very good. That will make them want to subscribe.
But it usually are.
But do you think this is a good thing, John? Because it's not any different to, I suppose, like YouTube did it with Cobra Kai first season. I think they gave you the first 2 episodes for free, and I think that was a good sort of business model to do. Yeah. For I think most people that were big Karate Kid fans would have subscribed and watched it anyway. But I think it was a good way to introduce a new sort of audience, a new generation, if you like. But it seems to be the thing anyway, doesn't it?
Stephen, I think it's probably an intelligent business plan from Netflix's point of view, because if you can hook someone in after the first episode and they're that engrossed in it and they want to continue on and binge it, then they're more inclined to go and subscribe for at least 1 month. Because of course Netflix has the ability to cancel out at any point. You don't have to subscribe for a set period of time. You can subscribe for 1 month and then end it after that. So just for short-term income games, I think it will probably bring people in to watch the service. And they're probably it's the highest amount of subs that they've had in recent times because of the whole coronavirus thing, people staying at home. Yeah. Cinemas also not been opened. There's probably more people flocking to the likes of Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus to a lesser extent. So if they can just bring in even more bodies by utilising little nice marketing ploys like this, allowing them to watch the first episode, then look, hats off to them, man. I still think Netflix, even now, with all the companies that are out there, I think they're still the best streaming service on the market. Yeah. Disney Plus, I've not really went to it since we reviewed Civil War and Winter Soldier and stuff like that, and Doctor Strange, I think. Not been back to it in months because there's nothing new really hitting that catches my fancy. Hamilton, I'm not really into Broadway stuff.
And everything that's been new so far, science fiction, it's not really hit the ground running, really.
And Amazon Prime's probably the nearest competitor. But even then, I mean, you've got The Boys and stuff like that. I think it's Hunters, The Hunters or something like that, the Nazi hunting one with Al Pacino. There's lots of interesting things on that, but I think pound for pound, for diversity of content and just great original stories and TV shows and movies and the calibre of acting and directors are attracting, I think Netflix are still gold standard for streaming services. So they've already got their established subscriber base, so you're going to be giving them money, come what may. And if this brings more people in, giving them a little insight into what they can get, whets their anticipatory juices, as we touched upon previously, then more the power to Netflix. We subscribe to them. We've been subscribed to them for years now. Yeah. I ain't ever going to cancel it because it's just getting better and better year in, year out. Yeah. And you're right, man, it's only really works if you know and you have confidence in the stuff that you get, the content you've got on your platform. If the original or the pilot, the first episode's amazing and you know it's going to draw people in, they'll only do that if that's the case. If it's shit content they've got, then they're less inclined to give a sneak peek. I felt something on my leg there, and that was terrifying. Felt a spider, and you know my thoughts on spiders, Stephen. Ain't a fan of them. So that's just, again, it shows you Netflix have overwhelming confidence in their content and what they're providing. If they're giving some of it away for free to bring more spondulics in, if you like. So hats off to them. But look, man, I'm done, unless you've got anything else to say, Steve.
No, nothing
That's
to say.
going to round up to the show tonight. I was about to say today's show, and I said the show tonight. Felt like Adam Sandler and Billy Madison. Today, Junior. Or my cousin Vinny. I'm getting better, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. But I digress. Guys, I'm going to round it up before I go off the edge. I've been up for an unbelievable amount of time today, a lot more than usual. What's your thoughts on this secret project coming from Jeff Goldblum and Taika Waititi? Could it be a Star Wars movie? Could it be an original movie from Waititi? Could it be a Disney Plus TV show where they go around eating wine or drinking wine and eating food and stuff like that? Could it be? Lord knows. What's your thoughts on it? What do you make about Whoopi Goldberg? Do you agree with her and her calls for a Wakanda experience at the Disney parks in honour of the late great Chadwick Boseman? And what do you make about the Dune promotional images that have just been released? And if you've seen the teaser trailer or the trailer teaser, then what's your thoughts on that as well? What do you make about Wonder Woman 1984 being 2 hours and 31 minutes long, and finally Netflix giving people a sneak peek of the content before they get their mitts into them and get the £8 odds off them, or £5 odds depending on the service you pay to have. If you've got anything to say at all, you can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you do, you'll see me back here tomorrow, much later than usual, after watching Tenet on my lonesome for movie news. Bye bye, guys. Bye.